What's up, everybody? Welcome to another entry on my top 50 favorite games of all time. We are almost there, down to top 20 this time. Soon enough, this will all be over and in the open. For tonight though, we are counting down from 20 to 11. There are some fan favorites, some newcomers, and perhaps even a surprise or two for you guys. Not me, of course, I mean, it's my list. I knew as soon as I played these games that they were something special. They just hit differently. They made a connection and provided a great time while playing them, and long-lasting memories, which I now share a tiny bit with you. So, without any further ado, at number 20, Persona Q2 on the 3DS. And if I'm correct, the last 3DS game to come out and that I bought myself. I had middling expectations for this game since I had beaten Persona Q in around 90 hours, and I wasn't a big fan of the first game. In fact, I thought it was a bit more underwhelming than I had expected, but then Persona Q2 came along and completely righted that wrong. It set things straight. It had its own original story, which was compelling. It also had its own new and original protagonist join our well-known and beloved crew of Persona characters ranging from Persona 3 Portable to Persona 4 Golden, and finally Persona 5, but not Royal because Royal was not out yet at that time. There was so much work put into this game and it shows. There are cutscenes for every type of situation between characters of your choosing, and many more you won't even see in a single playthrough since there are only so many spots in your team to be shared by so many characters. It is awesome that they do allow you a bigger party than we normally get in most JRPGs, but even then, and also even constantly changing the setup in order to see and play with more different characters each time, it is still not enough given how many characters are now available spanning all those Persona entries. Nonetheless, the first person dungeon crawling is pretty fun, and drawing the map with puzzles and special enemies is also pretty interesting. But of course, best of all is yet again the combat and boss fights. Strategizing who's going to be in your party, in which position each character will be placed in the lineup based on their abilities, weaknesses, and strengths. A perfect combination of buffing, debuffing, defending, and special attacks to make any weeb feel realized and accomplished. What do you know? Another JRPG joins the party. In number 19, the Trails of Cold Steel series. I remember well when in 2015 I played Trails of Cold Steel 1 on my PlayStation Vita. Rest in peace. I had always heard about the Trails series. I even owned a PSP copy of Trails in the Sky, but never had tried any of the games yet. So when I played this awesome third-person turn-based JRPG full of special over-the-top named attacks, I was floored, and it won my personal game of the year for that year. Not to mention how many waifus there were in the game. I mean, what a lineup. Then I played 2, 3, 4, 0, and kept on adding to the collection. Each entry somehow improving or adding something to the previous one. If I had to number them, I still think 2 has the best overall story delivered in a single entry, and 3 has the best boss fights and duos. 4 took some agency away from us, but then gave it back a whole lot of options. And I'm yet to continue and finish Trails into Reverie, so I'll save my thoughts about that one for the future. Overall, when it comes to harem builds and turn-based combat, the Trails series is an easy contender for number 1. But if we're talking about party composition, choices, and waifus, there are no competitors. The Trails series win by a landslide. Thankfully, it seems Falcom will never end the stories either, as more and more games keep getting localized, released, and announced for the series. So more and more characters to look forward to, special super power attacks, and dare I say, out of this world, interdimensional, overly powerful enemies, goddesses, and heroes to battle it out for our entertainment. At number 18, Final Fantasy VII The Remake. And let me tell you this secret, there is no nostalgia bone in this pick either. I have tried the original Final Fantasy VII at least 3 separate times now, and I cannot push myself to beat or even try to play that game for too long. I missed the boat on that one, and it just doesn't jive with me anymore. Now, Final Fantasy VII Remake is right up my alley. What a fun combat and gameplay they decided to go with for this game. I love being able to pick and choose who and how I'm going to use for the fight, while selecting the moves and special attacks to put forward, meanwhile micromanaging the party and also being able to defend and dodge in a semi-real-time strategy mixed with third-person action and turn-based menu selecting fighting. The best of several worlds put together in one battle system. Do I even need to say anything about Tifa? Yeah, I didn't think so. But the game sure is hotter because of her. I also enjoy the type of storytelling they're doing here, mixing things up between classes and how the world operates. Are we the good guys or not? Final Fantasy VII Remake also hits some personal high notes with me for the graphics, art style, motorcycle levels, and irreverent minigames that bring that Japanese game design we all tend to love around this part here. I am so looking forward to Rebirth, and that game cannot come out soon enough. For now, I guess I can try the Yuffie DLC since I have not yet dipped my toes into that story. Man, I'm beginning to see a trend here. For all of you who thought this was all about third-person shooters and action hack-and-slash games, what say you now? At number 17, Yakuza Zero was the perfect game to introduce newcomers to the wonderful crime and love-ridden world of the Yakuza. This game brought out the best the series had to offer. Graphics and art design were out of this world at that point. Minigames were fun to take part in and completely varied in gameplay from the main story. A setting which allowed the players to take the main story campaign in their own hands and dictate how much progress one would want to make in the main narrative versus how much time to play around in the open world areas versus how many irreverent side stories one would pursue. Not to mention, Yakuza Zero showed us what could have been or would have been the whole Yakuza series had they kept Majima as a main character as opposed to the sideshow he used throughout the whole series. I personally enjoy Majima's character and storyline a lot more than Kiryu's, and it's not even close. It almost saddens me to know that this game alone is the only place we get to see a full-fledged Majima as a character and story to tell. Yakuza Zero has so much to offer, it's hard to pinpoint what to talk about. A couple of things that really stood out to me were the cat fights. I mean, you knew this was coming, right? But it's so well done and so over the top, I couldn't help myself and not bring it up. Another cool minigame was the Hostess Club and building your perfect hostess while managing the club. Some of the side quests had me laughing out loud and were better written than they had any right to be. Teaching a dominatrix wannabe how to talk to clients was just what we needed in this game. Oh yeah, let's not forget the amazing over-the-top boss fights. But best of all, introduction to each fight, character, and scenario. This game can play like a soap opera or drama at many points, and some cutscenes can totally feel like you're watching a TV show. I thoroughly enjoyed everything Yakuza Zero had to offer and became a big fan of the franchise. Looking forward to more, and thankfully, more is in fact coming. The Man Who Erased His Name is already out this week, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth coming out early next year. So at number 16, GTA 5 was a nice surprise to me. I had played Vice City and perhaps another entry back in the day, but I missed out on all the famous ones. When GTA 5 came out and it was all the hype, I was not hyped for it, but I knew it had potential. I mean, I could see with my own eyes what the game was offering. What I could not predict is how perfectly made and balanced that game was. I seriously have a hard time deciding who I preferred playing with in that game or whose story I wanted to see the most. When I played as Michael, I look forward to his interactions with his son and his wife. What kind of ridiculous situations would they put him through next? Then listening to Franklin talk to Lamar was like listening to poetry. It was so well written and performed, it should have been nominated for its own award. Finally, when I played as Trevor, I could not stop laughing. He's basically a caricature of a caricature. So extremely over the top and yet so compelling, with something to say and full of attitude. I mean, obviously, seriously suffering from major mental health disorders, but also so perfect for the world of GTA 5. I never used to enjoy open world games. I always prefer to follow the main story in a game and see it through. In GTA 5, that statement is only half true. I still love seeing the main story through, but the side quests, the side missions, are also so compelling, creative, and fun in this game. Being able to scuba dive or manipulate the stock market by buying stocks and killing the competitor's CEO is just the tip of the iceberg. Flying planes and helicopters to operating tanks and tow trucks, setting up heists, or patronizing the Gentleman's Club. Everything in GTA 5 serves the story and characters, but best of all, serves the player with amusing gameplay and irreverent narrative. Oh yeah, polished to the nines with all the budget only a quadruple A game can offer, and it shows. Okay, I see we're back on my Japanese affairs here tonight. In 15th place, we have Nioh. I was gonna say another third-person action game, but that would be doing this game a huge disservice. Nioh had so many great ideas of its own, from the weapons we could use dictating how fast and strong we would be, to the stances we took in combat, each offering a specialty to gameplay combined with key movement attached to the stamina system that, if all done correctly, would culminate in a fun, fast, powerful, skillful, deliberate combat that was as rewarding as it was fun to play. I remember getting my butt whooped in the early game, only to come back with a vengeance once learning how to be efficient in combat. I'm yet to play Nioh 2, I hear it can be even better than the original, but since I can't place a game I haven't played yet, I have no qualms in placing Nioh here as one of my favorite hack and slash or third-person action combat style of all time here. Also, thank God for this lost spell. Come on, you know you used it too. A newcomer has arrived. A newcomer indeed. Number 14, Lies of P is the newest entry to my list of favorites, and it earned its spot with high honors. This is an unabashed Soulsborne-inspired game that, although borrows several ideas from other already established games, polished them all up and delivers a fine-tuned, fun, challenging, gorgeous adventures to us. I won't lie, I'm somewhat disappointed when I beat a boss on my first try or too fast. Not a problem I had with Lies of P at all. So when I had to truly learn how to fight and what best practice to use against bosses, I was happy as a pig in mud. There is no lying in Lies of P. You either learn and adapt or you die. The game offered a new and fresh idea concerning weapons, which made all of them viable to any fighting style you choose to go with. It had a perfect balance of difficulty and mastery. A skilled player can make it look great and easy. A normal player still can have fun and get through all the challenges the game presents to us. It also delivers a complete story with characters and motivations that are presented at face value, but that is also full of details in item descriptions and secrets for the lore aficionados out there. Did I say the game is gorgeous and atmospheric as well? The whole campaign feels earned, and each new area feels like it belongs. A story told visually and continuously through enemy designs and variety, to biomes and levels that complement one another. Lies of P took us all by surprise and showed that with enough love and care, even something that has the potential of being iterative and tired can feel new, beautiful, challenging, and fun. Number 13, Tales of Arise, or as I like to tell my friends, the only good Tales of game. I semi-joke over here. I did enjoy one or two other Tales of games, but I find them to be vastly overhyped and overrated. Well, my friends, not if we're talking about Tales of Arise. This one truly deserves all the praise it gets. This one is not like the others, and I stand by that. Tales of Arise is too good to be a Tales of game. Okay, I'll stop now. But I mean it. Tales of Arise is just so beautiful and fun to play. Shion is gorgeous and powerful. Mama Kisara is still hunting my friend's wet dreams. Rinwell is so likable, and Alphen, well, he's a bit of an JRPG trope, but I'll forgive it due to the awesome combat mechanics represented in this game. Look, this is not a JRPG for those who prefer story only. There's a whole lot of fighting in this game, and that is primarily one of the main reasons I enjoyed it so much. Combat is so satisfying to pull through. Combining special attacks at precise moments with over-the-top animations is all the reasons I play JRPGs for. I mean, there are waifus too, I guess, but seriously, combat or gameplay is the reason I go to these games in the first place, and in Tales of Arise, combat is the main attraction. The rest is still great, but secondary. But still great. I mean, it has to be very special for a Tales of game to land a spot here so high on my list, and it deserves it. Number 12 might intrigue some people, as it should. It is, or was in fact, a major underdog that not even I could have predicted how good this game was. Gears Tactics came out of nowhere and became my favorite strategy RPG of all time. I was so in love with the gameplay system in this game, perhaps because I had missed out on other Western strategy series, but when I saw it in Gears Tactics, I fell in love with that fighting style. Being able to Overwatch was brand new to me, and it was amazing. I think Overwatch is my favorite part of combat. It is so satisfying to plan ahead and see your units completely melt the enemies in their turn. It never gets old. Gears feel very gritty as well. That world is immersive and the party gels well together. The enemies are as cool or cooler than the main protagonists, and the main story even has voice-acted cutscenes. Come on now, I'm not used to this production level on my tactical games. I do wish there was at least one more spot in the party, since having to leave one type of unit behind always felt like a hard choice for me. The art style and graphics in Gears Tactics is also AAA quality, which brings me to, yet again, talking about boss fights. Well designed, dynamic, and challenging boss fights. Not that type where the main boss is waiting for you at the end of the level. No, 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 no. Here the level itself contributes to the fight. The battle arena is also a protagonist in the challenge, and then you add great looking enemies that can dish out punishment, move around the map, and pose a real threat. And we have an awesome fighting scenarios in our hands. I'm due for another playthrough of Gears Tactics, and I look forward to it. But for now, just talking about my time with the game brings me a smile to my face. I spent several hours in that world, and I cannot wait to return as soon as possible and overwatch with my heavy, while my scout is infiltrated behind enemy lines, wreaking havoc with explosives at the ready. Alright, here we are, the last entry for today's countdown, and I guess it could be no different based on what went on here today. At number 11, Final Fantasy X. Square flexing their muscles yet again with one of the most moving and awesome video games I had ever played at that time. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago either. I played Final Fantasy X Hybrid between my Vita and PlayStation 4, sharing save files between the two consoles. This game probably has the biggest earworm in all video games with the Hymn of the Faith song. I would hum it even while not playing the game. This also had the most cinematic adventure I had ever played in a JRPG. I cared about the characters and felt immersed in their adventure. I never knew video games could be that impactful at that time. Final Fantasy X sure felt like something different, something special. I was already a fan of turn-based combat, of turn-based JRPGs. I was also already a fan of JRPGs in general and over-the-top god-slaying storylines and sacrificial narratives. What I was not expecting was a compelling mystical love story to go with it. Titus, Yuna, Lulu, Waka, Riku, the rest of the party, and the antagonists, all with a story of their own and compelling perspectives to share. The game can be pretty challenging too sometimes, and also offer a whole lot of battles. But once you create a contract and learn to use Ojimbo to your advantage, equilibrium is brought back into the game, and even the hardest, most powerful foes can't keep up with your firepower. Summoning is also a hell of fun and relevant in combat. Final Fantasy X is just that much special with so much to offer and an ending that is borderline perfect for the story being told. In other words, a game that does so much correctly and tries to be the best at everything it does. And with that, my friends, we come to the end of another countdown, and this much closer to the top 10. I wonder what is to come, but how about top 20? Were there any surprises? Any games you don't think should be here? Did your favorites make the cut? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you guys next time.